Welcome, everybody. This is the 42nd weekly.
Hi.
What's up, Cynthia?
Sorry.
Welcome.
I'm so sorry, guys. My internet was a mess today, but I'm back.
Oh, sweet. So we're live.
People.
This is brought to you by TeamFlow, which is this awesome instance. TeamFlow is building a new technology tool. We will keep you abreast of that, so definitely check them out. Thank you to the team at TeamFlow. I'm joined by Adriana and team. Adriana, do you want to try speaking and let's see if if the general world can hear you?
Yeah, so we had some issues with the audio last time. So if you can hear me, please let me know, because it seems like my audio is coming through this time. But if someone in LinkedIn in the audience could confirm, that would be amazing. I'm just checking on the stream now, so I'll let Jared lead the way for a few minutes.
Oh, I think they can hear you because I'm seeing what you're saying written out.
Oh,
Let's
perfect.
go. So first and foremost, congratulations, Tom, on hitting his milestone, 20K followers.
Thank you, sir.
No, we're gonna have a really awesome competition today. Let's go around. Let's take like a one-line intro, like no more than 13 seconds, no longer than 27 seconds. Just kidding. To introduce everybody and where you're calling from. Tom, you want to get it kicked off?
Cold calling team, calling from Phoenix, Arizona, founder of my own company, the SD Lab. So I'm going to be calling other founders, co-founders, sales development managers to pitch my product to. And that's me.
Landon?
Yep, my name's Landon Hobbs. I'm actually going to be calling for myself. I'm the founder of a company called Nimbus Communications. I'm going to be selling the least sexy solution here, phone systems. So, woo, this is going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait.
Evan?
Hey, what's up?
Who looks slightly warmer today in the last 3 minutes? It's been cold in that room.
I'm the bottom of the totem pole here. I'm the SDR for Rattle. That's about it. Tom is my homeboy. If you can't read.
Love it. Jason, what's up?
How's it going, guys? Yes, Jason. I'll be calling from San Francisco today. I'll be representing Chili Piper, getting that demand gen and getting meetings booked.
And last but definitely not least, Cynthia.
Oh, Cynthia, hold on. I think you clicked into someone else's audio bubble. Can you hear me?
She's
Marin, try to book meetings.
Hey,
for my
Cynthia.
team.
Okay, hold on, really quick. So if you select someone's bubble, like on their screen, it'll only let you listen to them, and then the rest of us can't hear whoever's talking. So on your little like video, there should be, it'll say like listening to Tom, and then there will be like a little button that says stop. Can you see that?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so just click stop because we couldn't hear you in like the main chat.
I'm assuming that everybody can hear me now. Sorry.
Yeah, we can all hear
good.
you.
Perfect. So I'm Cynthia. I am the head of global sales for Samara. I'm going to be calling C-level executives today to try to pitch Samara what my team does. Best of luck to everybody.
Let's go.
Bye.
Let's go. So the rules are just keep cold calling, go into your own rooms. I'm gonna hop around. Adriana could hop around too because she has voice today.
Finally.
Tom is my homeboy. Gavin, you could stay. Jason, get that meeting. So on the left side, you'll see cool rooms. First name question mark. Did somebody switch that? That's really funny.
I'm just going to delete some of these other rooms that we're not using.
The legend.
So it's not so
objection
confusing to kind of go back and forth.
Let's pop into a room with like Jason first.
Okay. Yeah.
How's it going, Jason?
It's going good. About to do my first dial right here.
Let's get it.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 72083370737 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Shauna. No need to give me a call back. I was just calling because I noticed you guys had a demo forum, and I was just curious to learn a little bit more about your inbound process. This is Jason from Chili Piper, by the way. I'll send an email here in just a moment. Go ahead and reply on there and let me know if you feel like it's relevant. All right, talk soon. Bye.
Jason, before you go on your next dial, we have a question from the audience.
Yeah,
Brandon asked, Jason, do you like to leave voicemails when someone doesn't answer? I have heard different opinions on this.
Yeah, so I kind of have two ideas about this. I make a couple calls on this person. I've called her a handful of times now. And usually if I've called them a couple times, I'll leave a voicemail. And sometimes I try to reserve a voicemail for only people that I know for sure it's their phone number. But I always follow up with the email if I'm leaving a voicemail. But yeah, it's kind of like, once I've made a couple calls to that person, then I'll leave a voicemail. I typically don't do it on the first one.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you, Brandon, for your question. If anyone is watching and you have questions for any of our callers about calling, about LinkedIn, about really anything, definitely pop them in the chat. We would love to answer them for you.
Let's pop to Cynthia's room. She's always balling.
Yes.
So that you guys know, I'm dialing from my cell phone because I had huge problems with my dialer.
And so the audience knows. Cynthia just books meetings. That's all she does.
1, 3, 2, 5, 6, 5, 9, 9.
Hi, Joe. This is Cynthia, head of global sales for Samara. Saw that you guys have openings for executive and administrative assistants. I believe Samara can help you. We're a remote career platform for Latin America. Give me a call back if this is something you're interested in. 617-744-7977. Again, 617-744-7977. Thank you so much, and you have an awesome day.
So this is the other end of the spectrum, giving all the information in the voicemail. We were talking about some people say, don't call me back. We were just in a room with somebody. And this is the other way. What have you found to be the best? Do you get a lot of callbacks?
I try both. It really depends on the day. Like right now, I left a really long voicemail, but sometimes I just like, hi, this is Cynthia, give me a call back. And that tends to work, but it really depends. Like, you can try out different things to see what works.
Nice.
We do have another question from the audience. Jordan asks, is it best to call mobile numbers or a company directory?
Definitely mobile numbers, because that's most likely where you're going to reach most people out to. Sometimes if it's a big corporation, you can talk to gatekeepers and they can give you information about decision makers, but most of the time you're not going to be able to reach them out to their direct offices, because in this digital era, nobody answers like their office phones. Everybody's either on their phone or reading their email. Yeah. That's my advice.
I love it. Let's get that dial in. Let's keep going. And just a little play-by-play. Last time Cynthia was on, she booked like 4 meetings. I don't know if that was the last time.
Luck follows me today.
And she was saying before that Thursday is the worst day in the morning to do it. And then she set the best record she's ever done. She manages bunches of SDRs. She just shows them what's up.
Jared, do you want to see what Landon or Tom are
Yeah,
up
let's
to?
do it.
Awesome. We'll be back, Cynthia.
Bye.
Hey, Tom.
What's up, homie? How we doing?
Going good. Any connects yet?
I had one.
Oh,
had a
Landon's on right now, by the way. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Hop
pop
on.
over there.
And what I do is I work with your company to help save money on your phone system because I work effectively as a telecom broker. So what I'm doing is I partner up with about 275 different phone system providers, and we try to evaluate the best way to help save you money and give you the best bang for the buck on your technology. I could talk all day about it, but don't want to bore you. I was curious, would this be an idea that you'd be open to discussing? Yeah, I was. For sure. Do you do anything with the phone system there at all, or is that completely out of your hands completely? Word. Okay, I will update my CRM. I do appreciate the candor. Thank you so much, my man. Take care. Bye.
Jared, can you hear the other end of his calls?
I couldn't.
Oh,
I couldn't.
let me pause my dialing.
Test.
Okay, can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear you. Just not the other person speaking.
Ew. Hold up. You know what? Share audio. That's sorry.
No
All right, let's rip
worries.
another one with that in mind.
So sorry. Okay. Well, all right, tight. Let me disposition this because that was they got acquired. No go. Word is bond. Resume dialing. Can y'all hear the dial tone now? Or the ring? No.
No, I'm not hearing that.
Hey, Frank, this is Landon with Nimbus Communications here in Dallas. How's it going today? Yeah, this is Landon calling with Nimbus Communications. I'll tell you what, it's Thursday. I'm in a great mood. Anyway, so the reason I was actually giving you a call is I work with companies that typically have this problem with fragmented phone systems where their technology setup's kind of all over the place. Maybe they're possibly paying a little bit. Oh, can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Yes.
We have no idea. Oh, are you on the call still? That's what I thought.
I'm on hold.
What an amazing connect rate today, huh? Good
I
data.
wonder why the other side of the audio isn't working. That's so weird.
We have about 143 people live here watching us, which is pretty cool.
Frank, would it be better if I just called you back when you're not so busy? Hello?
Mark Mack, don't you love it when they hung up mid-sentence?
All right, I'm gonna. No, the dude is just like, I'm busy. He's like, I'm busy. All right, I'm gonna call him back later. I'm not gonna wait around all day for a dude to maybe possibly pick up. think he was just playing with me.
We have a
follow-up.
couple of questions from the audience, if you don't mind answering one.
Sure. Go for it.
Amish said, how do you keep yourself motivated when people just hang up on you?
I think it's really important that when we talk about emotionally detaching from the outcome, the way that I like to evaluate it is I have a list of 6,000 contacts that I'm able to call in. So if one person hangs up, I've got 5,999 more that I can call.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about emotionally detaching from the outcome, I actually don't care whether they do or don't accept what I am going to say. I don't have that control. What I do have control is over my personal motivations and energy in that day, in that moment. So the way to do it, to be honest with you, is build a pipeline of resilience. We literally build a pipeline in the amount of contacts we're going to be dialing.
Mm-hmm.
2, have a script of what you want to say as far as the talk track. And 3, just go to it. You have to smile and dial.
Yeah.
Do it when you're in a good mood. It's all part of the game, though. This is such as life.
Love that, Landon. Okay, Jared, do you want to hop into another room, see what's going on?
Let's do it.
Let's check on Gavin.
Landon,
I don't think we've been there yet.
You're crushing. Where are we going?
Let's go to Gavin's room.
Yes.
Because they don't want the reps to spend a lot of time doing admin work, and they've been able to save up to 45 minutes a day per rep, per day. So if that's like your mission, I know it's been a year. We've changed drastically in last year. Like I think you might have seen Rattle when it was an R, but now what it is we're a cute little dinosaur with a jetpack on it. Would it be absolutely crazy just to like a check-in and see if it makes sense for us to pursue a conversation, 3 or 4 months down the road?
Yeah, man. No, not unfortunately. So it kind of takes 2 things. It's like from my seat, like I need to be able, the amount of like customization and pivots for me to maintain a Rattle or something like that is pretty significant. So to be able to like kind of cater to the tool in terms of my time being able to just administer, oversee some kind of notification based tool, like it isn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
I get the product, like it's well worth it, but for how much change is involved with alerts and just what we need to get exposed and me maintaining it isn't for a small audience. I guess that's the caveat. We have such a small audience that it wouldn't be worth the squeeze.
That makes sense. Yeah, I hear you that. I guess,
yeah.
Let's.
But man, let me what's your name again? Gavin.
Gavin. Yeah, Gavin DeWitt. Let me make one last Hail Mary of a pitch. So here's what I propose, and you can tell me go kick rocks. I'll appreciate the game. How about we spend 30 minutes next week, and if I can't show you how to build a workflow in less than 3 minutes, then we can never talk ever again, and we can just shake hands and be friends or strangers, whatever you prefer.
No, man. Like I know how it's all built out. Like it's in one way or another. I appreciate the persistence, but like I'm good right now. I mean, trust me. If there's something that I need, you guys are definitely top of mind. Like you guys have vetted it out in some way or another. I have like personal references that vouch for it. You guys are backed by a bunch of different people that have kind of integrity. But like, trust me, I'll raise my hand if I do want to learn more.
So we shouldn't put 30 minutes on the calendar next week, is what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah. No, we should not.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, I appreciate I asked for a minute. You give me about 7 or 8. So I really appreciate it, Johnny. Thanks a million.
Yeah, man. Take it easy.
Cheers.
And then if there's anybody who comes top of mind, I'll make sure I just call you on LinkedIn.
Cool. I'll add you right now.
That comes top of mind, I'll relay them to you.
Cool. Hey, thanks a million, Johnny. Have a great day.
Yeah, take care, man.
Cheers. Man, there's nothing much you could do whenever he's like seen the product a year ago.
Yeah. That is tough.
That
I
guy
love
seems
how
like-
you handled that though. It's like very just like humorous,
Yeah.
And it's like when you come across like that, just like, oh, like let me make one, final like pitch at this. It doesn't come across as like so pressury to the prospects that you're talking to. And it's like, you still have that good like rapport with them. You can always call them back later, kind of joke around. That's awesome.
I like that was a very educated prospect as well. Like, so it was good to cut it off. Like it would have just dug a hole, but instead he's going to go to you when he's ready to go to somebody.
Yeah, which is sweet.
It's not a win for today, but it's a long game.
Everyone in
Yeah.
the chat is saying nice job, Gavin.
Oh,
Samil had a quick question. He asked, what will happen to this lead now? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So what I'm going to do, since he's already familiar, it's probably going to be different than any other lead. But what I'll do is I'll put him in like a different category. Like I have, shout out to our lead SDR, Justin. He kind of showed me how to like workflow this on his calendar. And what he does is he has like a reoccurring meeting. And what he does is like on that meeting is he'll put down like notes. So what I'll do is I'll put Johnny, talk to him on 112. He saw it, January of 2022. Like that gives me like better context of like, okay, maybe it's 6 months from now. Maybe I need to give him a call up and say, hey man, like we talked 6 months ago. Don't know if it's a better time or not. Maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's 3 months.
Awesome. One last question before you get back to dialing. Ben asked, how many of these companies are completely cold and have never heard of your product before?
So Rattle's relatively new. A lot of the stuff we're doing is market education. We're about like 18 months old. Maybe I think we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary in the next 3 or 4 months. But a lot of the stuff we're doing is really market education. Like a lot of people see the Slack teams or they see the Salesforce and Slack integration. They're like, oh, that makes sense. But like the more that you unpack it, like that's how powerful it can be because it's not just Slack. Like it's not just Salesforce to Slack. It's like literally anything inside Salesforce can get routed to Slack. So like what one of our customers does is they utilize like G2 buyer intent, and that gets funneled to Salesforce, which then Rattle can funnel that to Slack saying like, hey, RevGenius is researching your company, follow up with this lead. And it's like instantaneous.
Gotcha.
It's in the chat after you're living in. So stuff like that.
Awesome.
That's a good question though. I'd probably say like 20% of the people I call know about Rattle. And then 80% are like, who the heck are you and why you're calling me?
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. We'll let you go back to dialing now.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Let's go see what Tom is up to, Jared.
Let's do it. Tom.
Hey, Tom.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? I'm striking out over here. I got nothing going on. Just had another connect with a guy, and he gave me the all set objection. He was just not having it. He appreciated that I told him it was a cold call, but he's like, we're all set. Our team's doing great. So I was like, oh, that's cool to hear. Not most teams are saying they're all set in their motion and doing really good things.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he would bite on that, like kind of coming at him to be like, oh, there's, you're doing great. Oh, and he'd be like, well, I didn't say that, and kind of get him to bite. But he was like, cool, thanks. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Like, shoot.
Those are tough.
Yeah.
So we were on with Gavin before we came into your room, and he was talking to a prospect who had already seen their product, already talked to them like a year ago. So he wasn't really open to meeting. And someone asked a question. So I'm kind of interested to get your feedback.
Okay.
So someone asked, do you interact with this lead while you are waiting? Because he had mentioned that, he wanted to follow up with him later, but are you sending marketing material? Are you interacting through social networks? What do you do when you kind of run into people who have maybe talked to you before, are familiar with what you do, or just don't really need your services yet?
It's a lot of nurturing. And in that call, Gavin should have pulled at why they hadn't made a move yet, where they were currently at, seek to understand where they are today, right? Because you already know the product. I'm not here. I don't have to sell you anything. We don't got to go through the song and dance. But I do want to address that. Okay, if you know the product, then why aren't you a customer? Kind of approach, right? Like, hey, if you know, then why are you not working with us? And they kind of tell you, or they kind of understand, because they are taking the no meeting at, from the point of what they saw last time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was a bad rep. Maybe the product wasn't where it was. There's a lot in there, right, to find out. So what I do is if that happened and they were like, yo, no, thank you, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to dig into the account a little bit more. Maybe I'm going to do some research, understand where they were at, who was working that account a little bit more, see where our product was at that time, and then try to reinsert value in my follow-up. Hey, Adriana, I appreciate you taking my call today. I wanted to follow up with you because after reviewing your account, I see that you talked to us in March of 2020, and we're talking with my old partner, Jared. They're actually not here anymore. We've done a complete revamp. And based on the notes they left, it said that you were looking for this. We have that now. Would you carve out 15 minutes for me that I could share with you a little bit about the updates and see if we can be a partner now, right? And see what happens because it's just about reinserting value or trying to take them from an old mindset that they have from that last interaction and get them to try to figure out where you can drive a new interest, a new pain, or drill on the pain like, hey, Adriana, you know about our product. I appreciate you taking the call, but as mentioned, right, you know what our product can do. I'm just curious where the hesitation is in making a change, right? Like, what is it that's holding you back? Because you're still where you were when you talked to us 6 months ago. Are you looking at a different solution, right? Because the issue is if they know what you got, then there's something holding them back from moving forward with you. The last person, the last interaction didn't really bring in true value. Hey, Andrew.
Hello. Yes.
Hey, Andrew. Tom Slocum over at the SD Lab. How have you been?
Good, yourself?
Doing very well. Doing very well. Can't complain this Thursday. Hey, this is a cold call. I was reaching out to you because I was doing some research and saw that you're the business development manager over at Magnolia Cabinetry. Is that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. I was curious if you guys have any plans or strategies around what you're going to be doing for your outbound for 2023. Are you guys looking at doing any different strategies when it comes to going to market for your company?
Yeah, we're going to go out and sell stuff.
Hey, there it is.
No, we actually have a new salesperson starting. We're a very small company, so we're doubling our sales force very soon, which is to say 2 of us, and that's our plan.
I love that. Yeah, it looks like you're doing some growth, right? Getting up to about 8 folks, and driving, because that's good. With that comes, challenges, right? Of scalability, the pains of growth, processes, right? Kind of taking what you have already done for the last little while to get this person up to speed. Do you have like a playbook or an onboarding motion for them? Or are you just kind of going to throw them in the fire and just train them as they go?
Train as you go is kind of the thing. We do have a lot of our own structure in place. So I mean, I'm going to sort of start writing some of that as we go.
Okay.
But this lady is, I don't know how she's only 26 years old, but she somehow has about 25 years experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know how she pulled that one off, but so anyway, she's not a newbie.
Very cool. Well, listen, I won't take much of your time because the reason I'm calling is I'm a consultant. I have SD Lab as an outbound agency where I take people through a 14-week revenue accelerator program, going through processes, people, tech, really driving some of your internal processes to get your team to be able to scale, run fast, and see roughly like a 20% increase in what you're doing today. If you don't mind, what I'd love to do is maybe grab 30 minutes with you and I can come be an extension and kind of help you set up those processes, take some things off of your brain and kind of get your motion going to where you can scale and we can have a motion that's working, get her off the ground, selling stuff like you said, just get them selling stuff. Would that be of a benefit to you to have somebody kind of come in and help you iron out the processes or, coach her from the side and get her up to speed for you?
Well, are you local or are you, your number says California?
Yeah, no, I'm actually in Phoenix, Arizona. So I'm in Arizona, but yeah, I could come up to where you guys are at, or do in person. Usually it's over Zoom, where we'll meet, we'll do some things, we'll do some coachings. But yeah, that's I'm in Arizona.
Okay. Well, no, it's a. I got customers all over the country I've never met. It's
right. It's a new world. It's a new world. I know people all over.
It is a new world.
Yeah, it definitely is nice.
And can you send me some information because I would have to, kind of get started talking with this about this with my boss.
Of course.
The owner of the company.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll send you a follow-up email that says Tom with the SD Lab. I'll give you kind of my background. I'm a 16-year sales vet. I've been helping orgs. I had a small community of SDRs, AEs. So I'll kind of give you my repertoire. I'm not just your average Joe. And then what I'll do is I'll send a placeholder for you if it's okay for Wednesday, the 18th for like 10 a.m. Or 9 a.m. Pacific. And then we can move it, right? Once you get the email, you look over some stuff. And then if that time works, great. If not, we can adjust. Does that sound like a good plan for you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. I would love to work with you, talk with you, or just be a soundboard for you. If anything, if nothing comes from this, just kind of talk you through getting this person up to speed, helping you sell some more stuff in 2023. Any tidbits I can give you from what I've seen in the trenches. And then I will talk to you then Wednesday, the 18th, if everything goes well.
Right. So I'm guessing, with your AI assistant, you already have my email address.
I do. I have ACOYNE@magnoliacabinets.com.
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah, please send it. We'll talk about it. This might be the right time to look at some outside consultancy.
Yeah. Be a good time. And like I said, worst case scenario, in that 30 minutes we chat, I'll give you some nuggets that kind of just help you just kind of see some trends or some things you can do to help, this person and get you guys up to speed. So it'll be a win-win regardless.
Okay. Sounds good.
Awesome, Andrew. Well, you have a great rest of your day, week, and I will send that over to you shortly.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Woo. That felt good.
Awesome. What do your follow-up emails typically look like? Because I feel like there's a lot of conversation around this, especially now about should we make them super, super short, but what information do you normally include? So that person still feels like, they're making an educated decision to talk with you.
So I had this conversation with my wife actually yesterday. When I break down the entire sales process from prospecting to closing a deal, customer service, the one pain that's always been my Achilles heel is that first follow-up email to somebody, right? It's just, I can do it. I've had plenty of times to do it, but it's just that pain of man, what do I say? Because my emails can be pretty lengthy, especially when you're giving your offering. Now that I've made a connection with Andrew, he's cool. I don't have to write a 50-word email. He's aware. I told him what to look for. And now I can kind of drop the kitchen sink per se, but how do you do that in an impactful way?
Yeah.
So what I tend to do is I've been trying to dabble my follow-up in video. So now that I've connected with him, I know it's still technically my first email to Andrew, but my deliverability should be okay because we've exchanged and stuff. But drop a video. Hey, Adriana, now you get to see my face. This is Tom. I talked to you earlier today. The email was a lot for me to kind of encompass, so I thought I'd just give you the highlights through video and connect with you. Let me know if you have any questions. And then I would attach resources or a few things, right? And then I try that, and that's been actually pretty good. I've sent about 5 of those, and I've gotten 3 people to really enjoy those in the last 2 weeks because it's just a lot. It's like when you're posting LinkedIn content. If it's too long and it's going to be this gnarly post of really long stuff, maybe just record it on video.
Yeah.
Make it 90 seconds, right? And so I tried doing that. But in my follow-up, I try to be very, very short. What's the key things right now that makes them feel like, one, I recap what we talked about. So I'm going to say, hey, Andrew, Tom over at the SD Lab, appreciated our call today. As discussed, and what we talked about was consulting you and helping you grow with your new rep. Kind of get them to, the very first thing I'm doing is reminding them what we talked about and getting them in that space again. Try to recreate that scene again for them as they're going through my email, and then drop a few bullet points. I'm going to let them know, here's my resources, here's my website, right? Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'd like to do, right? And what I look forward to in the next steps. And then I'm going to send my calendar invite. So, try to be, but I try to recap, get them in the headspace of where we're at, hit those highlights, and then secure what those next steps look like. And that's ideally my follow-up. I'm not sending a one-pager right now. I thought about jumping Canva. I got to do my own marketing team. What's my collateral, But those things just hurt you more often than not. They're really useless. Maybe somebody clicks on it real quick.
Yeah.
Maybe it's visual, but nobody digests those, right? So how can you do it within bullet points of just here's what I do real quick, boom, boom, 4 things. And then what are those next steps that I'd like to do? Is kind of my approach.
That's awesome. Tim asked, when sending the first email to a prospect that you've already spoken to, do you stay away from attachments due to emails having a higher chance of being quarantined? And you kind of mentioned that usually people don't click on one-pagers and stuff anyway, but does that affect deliverability?
It does, right? It does. Because again, you're entering an unknown domain. Like your domain may be fine, your stuff's good, but like especially in like healthcare space, when you're emailing healthcare, their filters are way stronger, right? You're going after lawyers, their stuff's way more on the spectrum of their gatekeeper to their inbox is a lot harder than like hitting a restaurant owner, right? Who's using their personal Gmail, like no big deal. So you do have to be careful in that very first initial outreach to have a very bare signature. Don't put attachments. Don't really even try video, right? Get just a very HTML, very basic email over to them, get a response, and then go into the deeper stuff. And now you can be like, oh, oops, I forgot to send the attachments. No, it's a great hack. Send stuff and forget to actually attach the stuff. Because
I do that all the time by accident. I had no idea.
I do it by accident sometimes, and now Gmail literally will come up and say, you've asked to attach. Do you want to attach it? But that used to be like a hack of like, oh, I forgot to attach it so that my email could at least get delivered. And then they would respond and be like, hey, Tom, I didn't get it. And I'm like, oh, shoot, my bad. I was moving too quickly. Let me get that over to you. Now my next email can be stacked with 2, 3 one-pagers real quick, and I've got that connection. Versus let me send a big novel of 500 words plus 3 attachments plus my busy signature that says opt out, says, check my website. What would you think sending that all in on the first, like it's not okay. Be very bare, be very short, and your first touch, the only intention you have with that is to generate a response. Any kind, just get that box and that an exchange going. So forget to send that attachment, invite them to a webinar and say, may I send that over to you? Don't just send the link, right? So that would be my recommendation, is just try to keep it very, very bare in those first few touches, and try to connect with them on LinkedIn if you can. If that's an audience of yours, then send the attachments over in their DMs. I've done that too. Hey, Adriana, following up an email. I actually sent you all the attachments over on your LinkedIn just because I know sometimes you flagged and I don't want you to miss this stuff. So if you can just check, you'll see them on your LinkedIn. And then they'll either be like, they'll reply and say, can you actually send them here? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try. Let me know if you get it. And I know now we have this exchange, or it's sitting in their LinkedIn inbox and I can avoid the spam. And I'm now on 2 ways with them, right? Now I'm like, now I got email, now I've got phone, and now I've got their LinkedIn, and we're communicating value story. And so that's why I send all my videos on LinkedIn. I don't really do video and email. Like I said, I do it in the follow-up emails because I've now made an exchange, but I'm not cold outreaching on there. I do all my videos on LinkedIn. That's awesome. Because I don't have any filters yet.
Yeah.
You've got the opportunity on LinkedIn.
Maybe it's just a matter of time, but for now, it's safe.
For real. The mobile app's already working against us right now. We can't do voice memos. You can't send a message. Like, they're like, you salespeople, we're coming for you. Get off our platform. We'll block it all.
Oh boy. Awesome. Well, thanks, Tom. I'm going to bounce around to some of the other rooms.
All right. See ya.
No hangups today.
No hangups today. Nice.
Oh, like 10 no's, but like people have been nice to me today, and it's because I think that I'm very upfront when I call them. I'm not like, hey, how are you? How's your day? And I'm like, hi, this is Cynthia, head of global sales for Samara. I saw that you have an open position. And then I start asking them questions, and they're like, sorry, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from Samara, blah, blah, blah. But actually good qualified conversations.
There you go.
Awesome. How are your calls going, Jason?
I've had a couple hangups, but I think I forgot to check the time. I called some West Coast people, and they're like, it sounds like they're just getting up. So
by the way, I hate you.
Yeah, they're like, this is not a good time. I had like 2 not a good times and like 2 like kind of angry hangups, but
oh my gosh, it's the worst when like, especially if you've already gone through your list and you're like, okay, like I only have East Coast people, and then someone picks up and they're like, I'm in Spain right now and it's 4:00 in the morning. Like, why the F are you calling me? And I'm like, oh my god. Sorry, I'll just go die.
Bad data. I'm gonna go talk to my data guy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Just blame it on them. All right, I'm gonna go back to your room. Good luck.
Bye. I'm gonna keep calling.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm just gonna switch between a few of the rooms.
Connect.
You have reached Quick Fix Real Estate.
Connect. Hi. This number is using
192 dials.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I've had
In half
192
an hour?
dials. Yeah.
How
I've
many
had
conversations?
almost like I've had like 4 conversations.
I actually think that someone was asking about this in the LinkedIn chat. One, someone did ask, like, what are your guys' daily metrics goals and like calls to email ratio? And then also, like, what kind of connects can people normally expect when they're calling?
The last part of that question, dude, you never know.
Yeah, you really don't. I mean, the numbers used to be like 58 to 64 dials is typically how many that you would have to have before you would book a meeting. That's under the assumption that you're calling cell phones.
Yeah.
But like it really varies industry to industry, which persona that you're calling into, how far up the chain. If you're dealing in enterprise, your connect rates are going to be way less than if you're calling a small business. So these numbers, these averages can really be skewed. I don't know, like the dialer I'm using with Kixie, I don't even know. It says I dialed 192 numbers and I've gotten like 39 voicemails, but I don't know how accurate that is. You know what I mean? So I think it'll dial, but then it's I don't know. I don't know if it's actually skewed or whatever, but
yeah,
I mean,
I feel like sometimes I've used a dialer and it dials like for like 2 seconds and then it like marks it. I'm like, where are you going? Like they didn't even have a chance.
yeah,
but I don't know how they work, honestly.
nah, it's all good. I mean, what can you do? Smile and dial, right?
For sure.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
All right. Sorry about that random jump. I got to pick up.
Your call has been forwarded to an
I really like. This is my first time using a power dialer. I like it a lot. Holy smokes.
I love the power dialers. They are so awesome. The first time I used like the multi-dialer though, I like almost like had a panic attack because I was like, I know that it's supposed, it dials like 5 numbers at once. And then it's like supposedly, only one person picks up. But I was like, I feel like somehow it's going to dial 5 people and then all 5 of them are going to pick up at the same time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know that that's not going to happen, but it just like they freaked me out so much. But I love the power dialers; they're awesome.
Yeah. When you say like a multi-dialer, is that like a parallel dialer? Is that like what you're talking about when you're like multiple numbers at a time?
Yeah. And then you have to like click on whoever is like picking up, or sometimes it'll like automatically put you in. But there's always like weird delays and stuff. So I feel like the power dialers, it's like, it still dials really fast. I like those.
I'm amazed.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I just called the guy. He said he was like he's like, you gave me the wrong line at work. And it made me laugh. Like one of my first cold calls, this guy, I asked him if like generating revenue more efficiently was like top of mind for him. And he was like, buddy, he had like super thick. Hey, Darren, it's Gavin DeWitt.
Hello?
You got a minute?
Yeah. Yeah, who's this?
Hey, it's Gavin DeWitt. You don't know me.
How's it going?
Hey, we can call a spade here. You don't know me, but I see you're kind of like an account manager for and you're head of customer success for Fielden. Is that still accurate?
Yeah.
Hey, so
Yes, sir.
I just want to ask you a question and then let you decide if we should chat or not.
Okay.
My question is for you, Dan, is in this macro environment that we're in, I can only imagine how important customer retention is for you. Is that something you're focused on in 2023?
Yeah, it is. But I mean, for me, it's going to be if you're calling me from a company who can help us with customer retention, you're talking to the wrong guy.
Oh,
You'd have to talk to John DeCode, which would be our VP of customer success.
so do you report directly to John?
I report directly to John. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I'd love to tell you about where I'm calling from. We're kind of like a full service software.
I would not mind chatting with you, man. But at the moment, I've got a customer save run that I'm running at 11 o'clock, and I'm trying to get a deck put together right now. So I've if you could call me, actually, let me see. You're more than welcome to give me a call tomorrow. Anytime after 11, anytime after lunchtime tomorrow would work.
What time zone are you?
I'm in Pacific time zone.
All right, so I'll call you at 2 p.m. Central. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
What I'm gonna do is to keep us both accountable. I'll just send you like a blank calendar invite as well, so you know to expect my call. Sound good?
That sounds good.
Cool. Thanks, Darren. Appreciate it. Best of luck in your call.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Peace. So I love that technique. I absolutely love that technique of like, I'm going to send this dude a blank calendar invite for tomorrow at the time he called me. I've gotten like 3 or 4 meetings off of this alone. Cause it's like, hey, you said for me to call you, you know what I mean? Like it's just a layer of like accountability.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Especially, I think sometimes it's also easier because if someone's already agreeing to like a 10-minute call, you're like, oh, why don't we just meet on Zoom or something?
Yeah,
you know, you can kind of like finagle it. And then you're basically running a demo. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been sometimes I have like a 15-minute call. And one time I called this guy and it was like 15 minutes. And he's like, oh man, I don't really have the time for this. I'm like, buddy, you just did half a discovery call. Like, all I have to do is show you the product now. Just hop on the Zoom. I'm going to send you a Zoom.
Yeah.
It didn't work, but the effort was there.
I mean, sometimes, you know, obviously, like, I hate to be pushy with people and like, that's never, you know, the goal. But I think sometimes, you know, like you have to be a little bit firm. And if you're just like, oh, I'm just going to send you an invite. Then, you know, like half the time people are like, oh yeah, okay, that sounds good. Like, you know, just making it really simple for them.
And now it doesn't always work, but sometimes it does.
Gerald says, Gavin makes me feel like I can just be my country Bama self on the phone, accent and all.
Get your son. Come on. Is it Gerald? That's my kind of guy.
Bob asked. Sorry?
I just want to get a meeting the next 12 minutes. Tom has one, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he put something on the calendar. Okay, super fast. Bob asked, would you ever prep him with a brief introduction about the plan for the call? Do you do that or do you put it on the calendar invite or? So in this methodology, like of just like sending him a calendar for like 15 minutes and saying, hey, I'm going to call you back at this time. Cause it's like I mentioned, it's kind of like a sense of accountability of saying like, hey, you said I could call you back at 2 p.m. Like if you don't pick up, like, come on. It's just like the way that things work, you know? If it was more of like, hey, I'm going to send you a Zoom link for 15 minutes tomorrow, then I would put on an invite or an email saying like, hey, this is what we're going to talk about. But a lot of times I'll avoid sending an email because Rattle is so much deeper than just like what it says on top of like on this level. Like there's so many different things, kind of like I was talking about the other day, you know? So like people hear like a Slack Salesforce integration, they're like, oh, we already have that. Yeah. Like, they don't, you know? So it's a lot deeper than that. So if I can ever like talk through it, like on the phone, like I have to get the Gab anyways. So like if I can talk through it on the phone, then that's like probably like my bread and butter of, you know, following up on those calls. Gotcha. Awesome. Okay. I'll let you book a meeting.
No, you're good. Hey, I'm doing my best.
It's going to happen.
Thank you. Don't be shy now. Come on. Pick up your phone. There's been a couple people who are like in my list, and I don't know how they're in my list, but I'm like either A, already booked a demo with their company, or B, I've already talked to them So
Yeah.
it's like, hang up.
I hate that. Most awkward thing I think is when you're like already talking to someone and they're like, "Oh yeah, that sounds really interesting," and then they're like, "Wait, I think I already work with you guys."
Yeah, it's like,
okay,
"Ooh,
great.
how's it going?
Yeah,
Are you happy?"
yeah. Should I alert customer success? Like, I'm gonna go pop around to a few other rooms. Thanks, Gavin.
Yeah, you bet.
Two 5 6 4 2 5 1 0.
Tough. What's going on? How are you?
Just popping into all the rooms, seeing what's going on.
Anybody getting lucky?
So Tom booked me. I don't know if he actually put time on the calendar, mainly because I was reading a bunch of comments while he was talking. But he definitely has someone to follow up with.
Okay.
And then Gavin is really going for it. He's trying to get a meeting in the next 8 minutes. So
Yeah, I'm working hard. I had a decent conversation. The guy, literally his last day was yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
And then he's starting a new company, but he pointed me in the right direction of like who's in charge of their
That's
demo
really
forum.
nice when people do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I almost let him go, and then I got some qualifiers. Like I figured out like their CRM and like their email, and then I just need to get. So like that's usually my tactic. Like if there's nothing, like if this person says, "Hey, I'm not the right person," they can usually answer like tech stack questions, and that saves me from like chasing down another person because we only work with Salesforce and HubSpot, and so if they say a different CRM, then like I'm out of luck. And if I can get that answer like right away, like that saves me a lot of time, like on the back end, like with emails and calling and stuff like that. So if anything, people can usually help you out with that, especially if they say they're not the right person. So
for sure.
That's what I go for.
How are your calls going, Cynthia?
So I had a lot of pickups, a lot of no's. I have 2 follow-ups. One that's interested in looking at candidates, but doesn't want a meeting, and we get that a lot. So we're going to give him access to the platform. It's basically a yes. One that asked me to give him a call back later, and like 8 no's. But I did have a lot of pickups. I did have a lot, and nobody was rude to me. Everybody was like, "Thank you, but we're not interested." Blah 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 blah. But nobody was rude to me. Yeah.
Nice. So I kind of had a similar situation like in my first SDR role, because we had like a free version of our platform that prospects could sign up for and stuff. But how do you handle that? I guess, when they're just like, oh, I just kind of want to see how it works, but I'm not really willing to actually sit down with you.
So I actually do take them as qualified opportunities because, like business is business, and somebody actually, the BDR's role is to actually uncover that opportunity. That's when the AE has to step in and actually nurture the lead, because sometimes BDRs don't have all of the information unless it's like a complete full cycle sales role. So we do get a lot of those qualified opportunities. And what we do is ask the AE to give them a call, because sometimes they just need a call back with more information, give them access to the platform. And we have actually had a lot of people hire through that, but there's a lot that just want access to the platform and then they ghost you. So it's all about the AE stepping in to help out the BDR and nurture that lead. That's how we do it.
Yeah. I love that. That makes a lot more sense.
Because it's business.
Yeah.
Those are opportunities. The BDR's role is to hunt and actually find that opportunity. The ultimate goal is, yes, to book that meeting, but sometimes you can push and push and push and push so hard, and you're not even going to be able to book that meeting because some people actually do not want to sit down. And I get it. Some people actually don't want to sit down to that meeting. So that's where the AE should step in, actually give a call to that person or email him or whatever. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds like a great system.
That's what I would do. 5 more minutes left.
Yeah. I'm going to pop around to a few of the other rooms for the last couple minutes. And then maybe at like 10:58, let's all meet back in the lobby. So we can just kind of talk about like how the calls went, how many calls you guys made, how many pickups, meetings, all that good stuff.
Got it.
Awesome.
Sure.
I thought I got pick up. What's up, Aiden?
Just me. Sorry to disappoint.
We were just talking about our performance thus far. I got some good calls and got one for that'll be a prospect in like 6 months. And I said,
Nice.
you know, always be prospecting, right? Always think about your future pipeline too, not just that short-term effect. And then you popped in.
I tried a line. Like I'm willing to throw anything at the wall. Like, no, there's some things off limits, obviously, but like I like just joke around and stuff. And, I saw this on LinkedIn once, and it was like they say like, oh, I'm in a meeting, and instead of like, oh, is there a better time for me to call you back? Like someone said to try the line of oh, what's it about?
Oh my gosh.
I tried it, and this girl like laughed, and then she hung up on me.
Oh no.
That's a win.
Oh boy. Nice. We actually do have, Tom, we got a bunch of questions in the chat for you.
Oh, lovely.
Tom,
like a whole bunch.
Right, here we go.
Hold on,
Right,
hold on. I'm scrolling back up.
Rapid fire. Here we go.
Sorry, I can see them. Hold on. Lots of stuff going on there. Okay. Someone asked, any advice to reach out to healthcare professionals and navigate gatekeepers and medical clinics and hospitals? I was wondering if you had any insight on that, or just like even, aside from healthcare, like I used to call offices for property managers, and, it's pretty much all like assistants and people answering the phone. So how do you kind of get around that?
Yeah, I when I was at Yelp doing SMB, I would deal with gatekeepers every single day. I would very rarely talk to the actual DMs, right? You'd have to go through a lot of that. And then when I was at rep.com, calling into the healthcare and the enterprise, we go through directories and going through all the multiple doctors and all of that nonsense, right? And all I can say is, the biggest thing is you got to embrace those gatekeepers. Number one, you really do. Right? You have to. They have to become your best friend. I closed more deals at Yelp with getting like the salon receptionist to do everything. And then that night I got the contract from the owner. Right. And it was like I never talked to the owner. I just went through the receptionist every day, right? Because the owner was doing stuff. But in healthcare, it's hard with these directories because there's a lot. You have to really drill down and do some research into phone numbers, trying to get those mobiles. And that's where, when you do get a live person, take advantage of that. Every connect is valuable. Get in touch with that gatekeeper. Adriana, listen, I was actually trying to reach John, the VP of marketing on the healthcare side. I have like no real information beyond a directory tree. One, is he the right person I should be going after? Cool. Do you by chance have their phone number that you might be able to help me with, right? Just being their friend and keep calling, right? And every time bringing value and showing up, because eventually they'll make that connect for you. But you got to find that mobile, hit them on the email, try to pay attention to out of offices, right? Other things, try to see what you can find there. So you can use that information, right? Their number will be in their reply or whatever. And you're like, oh, that's how I get a hold of them. Hey, Troy. Lost that one. All right. But that's what I would say, right? Embrace those gatekeepers. Try to work through those directory trees. They can be a pain in the butt. Also, what I used to do is I used to flag those accounts in my CRM because sometimes you get an emotion of calling the same account every day and you run into the same, you're kind of being redundant and you need to get through that account, but it keeps popping up on your list. So I would flag those. And then in my admin hour in the evening or after hours in the shadows, I would try to dig into that account. There was one account where we booked a meeting for Chick-fil-A down in Florida, Georgia, and you can't get their phone. You call Chick-fil-A, there is no directory, there is no nothing. So I had to get creative. And so I started like mailing stuff. I did an ABM campaign. I sent them a Fitbit band, and then they had to redeem the piece for a meeting. I tried to do, social LinkedIn. I tried to work some other channels that were more accessible people, because then you can find some people that will pick up the phone in that order. That will get you to where you need to go. So use that, right? Like if the manager will pick up the phone, but this VP will not, go through that director, get in there, talk to them, try to figure out how you can get in front of the other person. And so I just say, be creative, really dig into that account, find some ways to go beyond. If you're getting stuck by those directories, try to find some names, do a little bit of research. There are some accounts where you gotta do a little bit more than just the quick 3 minutes, just look at something and they're just going to pick up. Right. Yeah. So I'll flag those accounts. I'll do some research after hours, go try to find numbers, go find somebody I can connect with live on the phone that can give me further information. And then sometimes I would like fake numbers, like, hey, Adriana, is John's mobile, 652-369, 4702? No, Tom, that is not his number. Where'd you get that? Those data providers, right? They're not always current.
No. Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh no, it's, or you just mess up one number to confirm it, right? I'll the last digit. And they'll be like, no, Tom, it's, 4097. God, thank you so much. Because people want to help. Yeah. Awesome. They love to do. So lean into that, try to leave the account better than you left it and move it in some fashion.
Awesome. Okay, so we're just going to do this super fast, and then we got to meet everyone back in the lobby. So 1, do you ask them to confirm if they got your video, if you sent it through LinkedIn?
I do.
Okay, and then 2, do you send calendar links in your emails? Like if you're sending a first email to someone that you just talked to over the phone, how do you do that?
I don't ask for a meeting until like the 3rd or 4th email. My first 2 are more to generate replies and get a conversation. Unless I get them on the phone, right? But like, I don't know anything yet. I'm just emailing, and I'm not going to be in the first email immediately giving you my calendar link, which is unfortunately how people perceive as lazy, right? It's not convenient as much as we think it is. They're still like, you're making me do the work. Yeah. Give me times, right? Shout out to Chili Piper, because I use instant availability and I love it, because I just click in the email and I put my available slots, and then they can just book. And then they can get the link, right? So I usually do like, hey, I got time Monday, Tuesday, and then here's my calendar if you need to find another time.
Gotcha.
But I'm not even leading with asking for a meeting yet or dropping my calendar link, because it's just rude. I need to first get that connection with them and then go from there.
Love that. Awesome. Tom, if you can head over to the lobby, I'm just going to grab Landon and Gavin, and we'll all meet you in there. Hey, Landon.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Ryan? This is Landon with Nimbus Communications here in Dallas. How you doing today? Ryan, are you having an amazing day like me? Hello? Can you hear me? Am I just talking into the void? Oh, he hung up on me. Oh.
It happens.
I guess Ryan is not having a great day. Like
well, maybe he'll be having a great day tomorrow. All right, we're all going to head to the lobby just to talk about how calls went and everything. I'm just going to grab Gavin, and I'll meet you guys over there.
Okay.
Something for you here. I'll see if I can get you a referral.
Yeah.
But hey, I want to compliment you on your call management. Good job.
Thanks so much, Trip. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me.
All right. Have a good day, man.
Hey, you too, Trip. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Nice.
Dang.
Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
We're all just going to meet in the lobby and just talk through really quick how calls went.
Okay. Sounds good.
People here and there. I won't say what we call those people by first name, but get through it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Another day, another dollar. That's what everybody does. Yeah.
All right. So we're just going to go one by one. I'm just going to go in the order that you guys are on my screen. So let's just kind of talk through how many dials you made, how many connects if you kept track of that, and then also if you booked any meetings. So Jason, you can go first.
Yeah, certainly. So I got through 27 calls in a little less than an hour. So for me in sales up, that's like pretty good. I'm usually averaging like a call every 2 minutes or so, and that was like with emails kind of peppered in and a couple voicemails. And then so I got out of that, I got 2 connects, I got 1 follow up, and then I got 2 to 3 connect hangups that were kind of disgruntled people. And so I would say overall like 5 connects but 2 positive ones. But yeah, it was pretty good overall. I usually do a calling block in the morning and the afternoon since I'm on the West Coast, and I can kind of take advantage of big time zones. So I'll do another one later today as well.
Awesome. I always feel like any of the times that I've been on one of these like live cold calling, like that day I'll book like 4 meetings like as soon as I get off. It's like, you know, you get so like in the zone.
Exactly.
Awesome. Landon, what about you?
Yeah, I had a ton of dials and a lot of voicemail. So I had 320 dials, which is what Kixie did. I had 64, like but it's a power dialer. So I don't know how accurate those numbers are because every time it connects with a voicemail, it drops the other calls, right? So, but I had 64 voicemails and I had roughly 6 connections in that time. One of them is going to be a follow-up. One of them was a pickup hang-up, which I think, was the very last call that you heard. But yeah, just, normal cold call session for me, right? So you just have to just bear with it. Yeah.
Awesome. Some people in the chat were asking about the dialer that you used. It's called Pixie.
Yeah, it's called Kixie.
Okay. Okay. So Kixie, not Pixie. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, Kixie with Kixie with a K.
Cool. Awesome. Tom, what about you?
So I took a minute to warm up. I am using a power dialer, so my numbers are outrageous. But I made 196 dials in that hour. And I had 8 conversations, 8 connects, and a few were like instant drops. Some were wrong people. And then I booked 1 meeting there at the end with a gentleman for next Wednesday. So 196, 8, and 1.
Awesome. Cynthia, how about you?
So I did 49 dials. I had 10 pickups, 7 no's, and possibly 3 maybes because they're all follow-ups. 1, I almost booked it, but at the last minute, he was like, no, this is for later on, so give me a call back, like, and so. But in general, people were really nice to me. Even the people that picked up, I didn't have any rude people. It's another normal day in cold calling, just a cold calling session. Yeah.
That's awesome. And Gavin, tell us about your calls.
So I dialed, I actually just got set up on a free trial of Monster Connect. I'm amazed. They did 188 dials and I had 14 conversations, but like 3 of them were pick up, hang up. No meetings. I got 2 that sounds interesting. And I got 1 that was like, I've heard of Rattle. It's not a good time right now, but whenever it is a good time, like, trust me, I'll come run into you. And then another one where like they didn't have the right technology for us at all. And I just blatantly asked for a referral. And he's like, dude, I think I have like 2 or 3 people in mind that would be a good fit. So
that's
I'm
awesome.
gonna follow and see if those people would, make sense.
Cool. Okay, let's ask let's answer just one last question from the audience. Ruben asked, can you elaborate more on the power dialer or multi-dialer that we mentioned earlier? So someone can answer that for Ruben. That would be awesome.
Oh, like about Kixie and the ones we were using?
Yeah, or just like what's the difference? How do you use them?
Yeah, so I guess for me, right, Connect and Sell or Monster Connect, right, Gavin, like what it does is you upload your prospects in there. So a good 600 to 1,000 list. And then what it's doing is either it's doing human assisted dialing. So there are other folks calling these numbers anywhere from 5 to 10 dials at a time. And then when a connect is made, that's popping up in your ear. They're now bridging that connect, and then you're able to just focus on pitching and getting right into it. So it's really great for SDRs because like I made 196 dials in 1 hour. That's an 8-hour day to another SDR at another org that is doing that manually or going through their SCP and just clicking to dial, right? Where I literally just did my whole day in 1 hour. I made my 200 dials. I talked to 8 to 10 people and I booked my meeting, right? And I did that all in 50 minutes. So it's a really great tool to kind of boost your team's efforts and scale what they can do. But you have to have the right data and you have to, use it in a good way.
Yeah. Awesome. Tom, thank you so much for answering that. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you everyone who is watching on LinkedIn. I did see a few people asking about a replay. So if you did maybe miss the beginning of this, it's super easy. Just as soon as the stream is over, the replay will be available on the same LinkedIn event link. So it'll be super easy. Just refresh the page and you can watch it from the very start. But awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Super appreciate all of you, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Hey, everybody.
Thank